The Professional Bowlers Association Summer Tour on ESPN is being brought to you by True Value Hardware. For quality, selection, and personal attention, make True Value Hardware your store of first choice. By Budweiser, Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. And by Columbia 300. Welcome, everyone, to Red Carpet Lanes in Green Bay, Wisconsin for the championship round finals of the $125,000 LaMode Classic. And now let's meet tonight's top five. Needing a crucial double in the 42nd game just to qualify. It's 25-year-old right-hander Ricky Corona. His opponent in the opening match this evening is Lake Worth, Florida's Joe Firpo. Starting from the number 3 position and in search of his first career PBA championship, it's Ron Williams. One of the tour's top players over the past 5 years, Dave Husted, qualified in the number 2 position, while 33-year-old Joe Berardi will be trying to become the first 3-time champion on the PBA National Tour this year. Hi, everybody. I'm Denny Schreiner, and welcome to Red Carpet Lanes in Green Bay, Wisconsin for the championship round finals of the $125,000 LaMode Classic. And, of course, joining me once again here in Green Bay is PBA Hall of Famer Mike Durbin. And, Mike, we've been called a lot of things, but one-dimensional?
Well, I don't know, Dan. You didn't look too bad in that thing. Somehow I think I came out of the short end of it all.
All right, let's get down to the business at hand. Let's talk about the 5 players on the telecast. They were really challenged this week because the scores were not very high.
They certainly weren't very high, Denny. This week it took only a 199 average to cash, last place in the money. It took only a 203 average to make our top 24. So it was a low-scoring tournament, but it put a premium on both power and accuracy and making spares.
All right, Mike, for the most part this week, the players who qualified for the show and in the top 24, they all played the inside area right around the 3rd arrow.
They certainly did. They played 3rd arrow or left. Sometimes in the night blocks, they got left of the 4th arrow. Tonight, I think all 5 players are going to be playing right around that middle arrow. And over the years, I have to say that that was probably my least favorite angle because you leave a lot of pocket splits there, 5 7s, 8 10s. We may see some of those tonight.
All right, Michael, let's move ahead now to the championship game. 33-year-old Joe Berardi is undefeated from the top seed position. What are his chances here tonight?
His chances are good. He's bowling with a lot of confidence, but the key with Joe is watch his thumb. If his thumb goes down at the point of release, Joe's going to have trouble. If his thumb stays up, I think he'll win.
Well, before we can watch Joe Berardi bowl for $18,000, we have to get to the opening match between a pair of young professionals, Ricky Corona and Joe Firpo. Stay tuned.
All you need to know about great selection and low prices is here, inside the newest circular from True Value Hardware Store. Check out the Carnival of Value circular, where the 3M Sandpaper Value Pack is just $2.99. Get a 3M Scotch Guard Auto Cleaner Pack plus an Olympic cap for just $4.77. Hefty cinch sack trash bags are just $2.29 a box. And a Cervus indoor-outdoor floodlight is only $1.88 from participating True Value Hardware stores and home centers.
Somewhere, right now, there's a clean, crisp, ice cold, Beechwood Age Budweiser with your name on it.
After years of research, the high-tech laboratories of Columbia 300 have created the most advanced urethane bowling ball ever made, the 100% urethane Columbia 300 U-Dot. The extraordinary U-Dot solves the inherent problems of lope and wobble. Its devastating pin power and superior lane control characteristics are unequaled. If you bowl to win, the Columbia 300 U-Dot is the ultimate weapon. It's like no ball ever made before. Sold only in lanes and pro shops.
Some guys, they have it all. Some guys are just too big. Some guys, they have a soul. Some guys get left out in the rain.
Don't wait for something good to happen. Make it happen with the clean, masculine scent of English leather cologne.
Some guys have what others want. Some guys have it all.
English leather. Some guys have it all.
Welcome back, everyone, to Green Bay, Wisconsin for the championship round finals of the $125,000 LaMode Classic. And in the opening game, Ricky Corona and Joe Firpo. Firpo starts on the left-hand lane, the championship pair here at Red Carpet Lanes, 15 and 16. And Joe Firpo really had a solid week.
Very solid. The thing to watch with Joe is his hand release. He's got a pretty clean release. And he starts off right with a 210, and we see why the scores were low all week long. You send that ball out a little bit wide, it doesn't make it back, and not only do you not strike, you get a split.
Well, that's got to weigh on you a little bit to go out there and make that first shot nice and loose and give it a little room to the right. Trust is a must, right, on the PBA Tour, and then you give it the 210, and that'll tighten up your arm swing.
Yeah, it sure will.
Chances of making this?
I don't know what the odds are, but he wants to hit that 2-pin on the left and slide it across. Got a chance. Nope, not quite enough.
Well, Firpo almost providing the thrills here in the opening frame, but now stepping up is 25-year-old Ricky Corona, and talk about pressure bowling last night. He was really locked into the telecast, shot 170, 150, 150, and had to double in the 10th to edge out Tom Kreitz just to get to the championship round.
And it was amazing because he started the last game with 2 opens, and Kreitz struck out to make him strike out, and he responded. Good professional shot for his first shot. Leaves that 10-pin. He missed the 10-pin last night in that final match.
Now, from the inside, the extreme inside angle, Mike, are we to see more 10-pins tonight, perhaps, than we normally would?
You see the flat 10, just like that. The ball comes in behind the head pin and not enough power to finish at the back end and knock that 10-pin out of there. Trouble is if it has company.
Well, this week, a number of the professionals leaving pocket splits, 5-7s and 5-10s, and well, that's the caricature we saw in the Open, and that was provided by Sam Villarreal out of Rochester, New York, and courtesy of the good folks at LaMode. And Mike, you're right. I think I did get on the better side of the deal
there. Yeah, back then I still had a mustache, huh?
Well, you know you've made it when they start to poke fun at you, right, Michael?
Whatever you say, Dad.
All right. Back to live action now. Corona with a spare up in the first. Former star of tomorrow, tremendous junior bowling record, great regional player, but he has struggled on the national tour. He did bowl from the top seed position last year and got beat, but since that time, he's been nowhere.
Last year in Torrance, California, the week that Pete McCordick shot 300 on national television, Ricky Corona led that tournament and wound up losing to Mats Carlson.
Joe Firpo, meanwhile, already has a PBA title. He captured the Showboat doubles with his doubles partner, Del Warren, who nearly picked up another victory last week in the Hammer Open.
Came as close as you can without doing it. There's the old week 10 again. The reason that the players have to play that deep is if they try and go straighter, the ball will hook high through the nose. The lanes are slick between the second and third arrow and even right of that. And so they move in for this deep angle, and you can see the ball starting to bite right now, but a little bit late. Now watch the ball deflect. See, it barely got the 5-8 out of there and leaves the weak 10.
I hate to say this, but we did see a few sour apples this week, the 5, the 7, and the 10.
And we saw a couple 5-8 10s, too.
Which is frightening, not only for the amateur players, but a bit embarrassing for the professionals.
Yes, it is.
Joe Firpo, 23 years of age and one of the rising stars on the PBA Tour. He has a wealth of talent.
Needs to develop it. Needs to gain that confidence, which can be the key that unlocks the talent of that potential.
Last year earned a little over $30,000. He's already at 35 this year. Depending on what happens this evening, he's well ahead of pace.
Well, he had one championship round appearance earlier this year in Venice, Florida, where he finished third when he threw the ball just like that. You saw the power that time. He finished it right in, a little bit heavier fingers.
All week long, I watched Joe, and especially after he would make a bad shot or miss a spare or open, and boy, he came back every time with a nice crisp shot and just didn't seem to let a whole lot bother him all week long.
This is the guy that amazed me, being able to throw that double in the 9th and 10th frame last night. I don't think anybody in the building thought he was going to do it, except him.
tell you what, there was one other player who picked him to throw the double, Big Mark Baker. And Baker grew up bowling against Corona in the junior leagues in Southern California. And I was sitting there with Mark, and Mark looked at me and he winked and he said, hey, don't count this kid out. He can throw strikes under pressure.
Well, he certainly did.
Right after Kreitz had struck out. Boy, that was amazing last night. Give you an idea of where he's been lately. $16,000 he earned last year. This year, after going 0 for 15 for checks on the winter tour, he's won $3,615, and that's a tough year.
High, 3-6. It's just so easy to get locked up on the Pro Bowlers Tour, Dan, to get into a bad routine, to get into a bad frame of mind, to get into struggling with your release or your timing or adjustments or equipment, and then you start to lose confidence in yourself and you begin to wonder whether you really belong out here. And all these things happen to the young players.
I asked him what was going through his mind this winter, and he said, hey, I wanted to go home a couple of times, but my girlfriend and my sponsor said, hey, you know, it's not going to get any easier. You got to stay out there. You got to grind it out. You're a professional. We know you've got the talent to make it. So, and he's hanging in there. And right now, he's in a position where he leads by 19 early in the opening match. And we'll be back with more bowling from Green Bay right after this.
What makes Jenny Light taste so great? Ingredients. Barley and hops planted with state-of-the-art technology and harvested at the peak of ripeness.
Try that's right, Martha. We're making Jenny Light.
And shipped thousands of miles to our brewery. In fact, there's no place we won't go in our search for fine ingredients. A search that makes it all worthwhile when you say, boy, could I go for a Jenny now.
Hundreds of your friends and neighbors have shopped Hess Ford and Hershey. Now it's your turn. Hess Ford's $4 million new and used inventory offers you the best selection of any car dealer. And when you buy a used car, Hess gives you a minimum of $2,000 on the trade of your old car. Just $1 down and that new car or truck is yours. Hess Ford also backs up their sales with a professional award-winning service department. We're making it easy to buy at Hess Ford and Hershey. We can think of no reason to shop anywhere else.
And there's a look at the finalists and how they qualified for the telecast this evening. Boy, Williams started 51st. Look at Corona, started 66th. And that was Ray Nitschke's old number, wasn't it, Michael?
Yeah, famous personality here in Green Bay. Look at Firpo. He's never lower than 5th. Berardi kept gaining.
Firpo looks for the big double, and this one just a hair high. Looked like a pretty good shot.
Quick with the follow-through. If you've seen it, he stopped. He just didn't extend the follow-through. It was on line, but just quick with it.
How crucial is speed, ball speed, when you're playing the inside angle, Mike?
Well, they get a little soft here. That ball's going to turn up high, Denny. They've got to keep the speed up, but if you throw it too hard, you got a pocket split.
Or you miss the head pin.
Yeah.
A little washout or something like that.
Has to hurry. Oh. That's just carelessness there, or either that or he just didn't practice the 4-7 in the half-hour practice that the bowlers have, but he's digging himself a hole with 2 opens. He's down by 31 pins right now.
Well, let's see if he's able to shake off the adversity here and extricate himself from trouble. Down by 31. And Corona is hungry. I suspect if you give him an opportunity, he'll put you in a very bad position.
Well, he's inexperienced, but he's got to feel a little looser right now, being up by 31. Well, you said all week long he bounced back every time he had trouble with a good crisp shot. He did that right there. Watch the follow-through, Dan. On this shot, the follow-through extends right on out. See it going out there? The frame before, he stopped it short.
Well, watching all these players deep inside reminds me of the old lacquer days.
Jim Goblin used to be great in there. Slides by the 0-2-4-5. Saw a lot of those this week. Not an easy spare. What they'll try and do is play down the left side and throw hard and straight right at it.
Ricky Corona, a former collegiate All-America choice back in 1983 and 84 when he was a bowler at University of California, Berkeley, and there is his lovely mother looking on, and she looks confident.
Boy, he gave it right back. In that situation, Dan, the thought going through my mind would have been, you know, if I'm going to miss this spare, it's going to be a chop. It's not because I don't get to it. And he played it from the left. Let's see if he goes over right about the middle arrow. Right over that middle arrow, and it just slid on by. And again, I don't know whether they didn't practice these spares in the practice session. He's saying hook right now, right about now, he knows there's no chance. And that's just giving a 30-some pin lead right back to the guy, and now he's only up by 17.
Well, he hasn't done anything easily the last year or so. And when you're in a slump and when you're struggling, that's the way everything seems. This one sets up a little short through the nose, lucky to get out with just the 610 standing.
And again, that's the reaction from missing the spare, going light the frame before. You're just unsure of yourself and don't make a good shot.
Of course, we've talked about the fact that the pros had trouble stringing strikes this week and scoring high games, but shooting spares, particularly 2- and 3-pin spares, was not easy either.
Nothing was easy this week. Has it. So keeps himself right in the game, but Firpo right now, these are two very big frames for him. He's 17 down. If he could strike twice here, he could sit down ahead.
Well, thus far, he's left the 10-pin and the 4-7 on this right-hand lane. Needs a double here, though.
There's the 08-10, almost. See the 4-7 last time. He probably moved a half a board left and barely knocks the 8 out and leaves the 10. And he's just tentative on this right lane. He's just not confident on it. He's not throwing the ball quite as well as he is on the other lane. It's close, but it's just not as crisp a shot. Watch him throw a full roller at this spare. That ball is rolling basically between the thumb and the fingers at the spare.
And why would he do that?
Straighten it out, hard and straight. He can throw right at the spare, makes it easy. Or easier.
Firpo trailing by 17 now in the 7th, and thus far in 1988, his second appearance in the championship finals, and also his 9th finish out of 24 events in the top 24.
Just all the difference in the world between the two shots.
Well, the left-hand lane seems to be settling in for Joe Firpo, but he is still looking to find a strike on the right-hand lane. We'll be right back.
I should have bought a Frigidaire.
There's only one Frigidaire.
I should have bought a Frigidaire.
Ask for it by name.
I'll take the Frigidaire. Now.
Frigidaire. Here today, here tomorrow.
The best thing about Kmart, having Wrangler Stonewashed jeans on sale, is that even though they look great with just about anything, at $15 a pair, you can still afford to treat them like jeans. Wrangler jeans, on sale now at Kmart.
As anyone who reads the Wall Street Journal can tell you, it takes money to make money. Specifically, it takes 47 cents a day.
Call 800-228-1900 for this great journal subscription offer. 13 weeks for just $29.75 with a money-back guarantee. 13 weeks, $29.75. Phone 800-228-1900 now for the Wall Street Journal.
Golf, a sport for all seasons. And 12 months a year, ESPN brings you the best of the PGA Tour. Coverage from 3 of golf's Grand Slam events, including the final leg of the PGA Championship. Join the world's greatest golfers for heart-stopping and heart-breaking thrills at the PGA Championship. Live Thursday and Friday, August 11th and 12th on ESPN.
And a look from the broadcast vantage point. Just a terrific week here this week in Green Bay, Wisconsin. The bowling fans in this state know their sport like no other state in the United States.
Always been very enthusiastic in the Milwaukee and Green Bay area. Better shot. Got that trip to the 4 there. The bowler said that the right lane was a little bit tighter than the left lane. Ricky had a little time to collect his thoughts. Deep inside. Look, he's sliding. He doesn't slide very much, but he's left of that 4th arrow. He's in around the 23rd board, Dan. Ball goes, watch the 2-pin, 3rd from the left. Gets both the 4 and the 7. That's the shot that Billy Hardwick made famous.
Give you a little note here. Randy Peterson finished 16th this week, and the lanes were hooking so much, the right-hand lane, that at one stage he went to 3.5 steps and moved left to the ball return to throw some strikes.
That shot wasn't in my repertoire as Ricky Corona leaves the 2-4-5-8, the dinner bucket.
Shakes his head on the way back. Obviously felt like you threw a pretty good shot.
I don't know whether he did or not. It's the adjustment for the going high the last time. But right now, what's going through his mind is I missed the 2-4-5. It didn't make it up. How do I make this spare now? He's got to get it up to cover the 8-pin. The wheels are turning. You could just see him going inside that head right now.
He's taking a little extra time, and there's some guesswork going on right now.
He guessed just perfect. That's a great shot at the spare.
Look at that sigh of relief as he walks off the approach. That may be the toughest shot he's had thus far. I'll tell you what, I'm not adverse to seeing spares become a part of bowling again, though, Mike. Believe me. I mean, I know the scores are a little bit low, but I don't think that's necessarily negative.
Let's see what Joe can do with this right lane. This is the lane he picked to finish on. Hasn't hit a strike on it yet. Has to hurry. Oh, a great shot. Blows the 5 out of there and leaves the 10. He stroked that one pretty. I watched his follow through, and he just stayed with it all the way. Watch it now. Starting to turn over now. Now watch the ball get the 5 into the 7. And the 6 just slides off and doesn't hit the 10. Goes that full roller at the 10, man.
All right, now I know this is an obvious question to maybe some of the viewers, and I'm going to pose it to you. Hey, you haven't thrown a double. You're not striking from this particular angle. You're down by 17 in the 9th. Do you move right? Do you try something a little different to strike?
You can't change drastically. He may try moving back on the approach an inch or two. He may try a little deeper knee bend or soften the speed up a hair, but he can't make any drastic move.
Well, he's had 3 strikes consecutive on this left-hand lane.
That almost ends it right there. 4, 6, 7.
Obviously, Ricky Corona adds up the score in his mind, and he realizes that he's in the catbird seat right now.
Well, he is in this game, but he knows he's going to have tougher games ahead of him. The young man coming on after this game, Ron Williams, the folks are going to see a very interesting arm swing.
To say the least. Well, I guess to get from point A to point B, it doesn't always have to be a straight line. We're going to find that out in the next game because Ron Williams threw a lot of strikes here this week.
Ricky Corona now just trying to keep the ball in the fairway right now. Hey, chipped that 4 out of there again. His mom says,
she's obviously watched him play. I know one thing. If his mother had been there last night, boy, she'd have really been worn out.
Biting her nails in. Watch the ball go. He's closer to the 5th arrow than he is the 4th. 2-pin again, goes to the wall. Trips the 4, 7 out.
No problem. Well, a possible 214 for Corona.
But basically, all he has to do is just show up for the 10th frame and keep the ball on the lane, and he's a winner.
It's a nice way to win a match. Get nice and loose and get ready for the next one.
That's enough. He didn't strike, but he's a winner right there.
I think that might have been a bit of a practice shot there. Mike.
Well, again, that was the adjustment.
A little disappointment written there. It's funny because Del Warren, who just missed winning last week, his teammates in the doubles with Joe Firpo, and I talked with Del last night. He said, Danny, coming into this week, he said, you won't believe this, but I had this dream that Joe was going to win this week before the week even started.
Wow.
Although he didn't win the tournament, he did make the telecast and gave it a run.
And he was up near the top all week long.
Led the tournament for the 2nd and 4th rounds and almost led it all the way.
Winds up finishing 5th. Well, Ricky Corona, who was given up for dead last night, going into the 10th frame, now suddenly has life.
Little disturbance, minor disturbance in the stands.
Somebody just dropped something, that's all.
Sounded like a crescent wrench. And another good shot on the left-hand lane, but the soft 10, Firpo up with a congratulatory handshake as Joe Firpo will now move to near $40,000 in earnings in 1988 with a few summer stops left and, of course, all of the fall.
He never did get a strike on this right lane.
Wonder if he had any strikes in practice. Well, nevertheless, it's a victory for Ricky Corona in match number 1 here in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Coming up next, well, a chance to make some adjustments in those arm swings.
Leave it to the good hands, people.
Yesterday, when George Tucker left the Allstate Claim Center across the street, he figured the only thing that'd bring him back was the pie he'd discovered. Unfortunately, the long, hot drive home exposed other minor damage that had gone undetected. Just the kind of thing Allstate Hidden Damage Protection insures him against. So today, Allstate gave George another check and a great new excuse for more pie. Allstate Hidden Damage Protection, another reason.
You're in good hands with Allstate. Bowling in the USA. Bowling in the USA.
We're having a party. This weekend, save 50% or more on bowling and enter our Bowling in the USA sweepstakes. Win award-winning Jeep Cherokees named 4x4 of the year again. Trips to the Showboat Hotel and Casino. Over 70,000 prizes. Bowling, bowling, bowling in the USA. We're back bowling, bowling, bowling in the USA.
And here's a look at some of the numbers that were posted this week in Green Bay.
And not as high numbers. We saw Ricky Corona had 287, and right after that is when he had those 3 bad games in a row. Most consecutive 200s, only 11. Most games over 232 is very good by Dave Husted on this condition. He was steady all week long.
And now let's take a look at how the other players stacked up from 6th all the way through 24th.
Yeah, we see how our good inside players, although there were a couple players that played outside this week, grounded out. Tom Kreitz came so close. Butch Soper in the truck out there. We're going to see a face here. Chuck Pierce right there at 21st.
And for the first time ever, we're going to show you all the players that cashed this week. There's the roll there, moving by swiftly, but nevertheless, 53 players getting a paycheck in Green Bay this week, and hopefully each and every week we're going to get a chance to show you all the players that cashed on the PBA National Tour. Coming up next now, it's time for the average builders, and Mike will get a chance to show you how to make some minor adjustments in your arm swings to straighten them out a little bit.
The bowler swing. A good swing can be life for a pro bowler. A poor swing can be a lot of problems and not too many checks. And over the years, we've had some bowlers on the PBA Tour that had great swings. Dick Weber with his golden swing immediately comes to mind. And on the left side of the lane, Dave Davis with his beautiful swing. Nowadays, I think Brian Voss may have the best swing on the PBA Tour. But even bowlers with great swings can develop some problems. And tonight we're going to talk about two problems in the swings that can plague both low and high average bowlers alike. The first of these problems is a swing that wants to come back and get away from my body at the back of the swing. It swings out like this, and it's called a swing out. The problem with the swing out is when it's out here like so, when it wants to come forward, it's coming from this outside angle and it wants to go left of target. And the only way I can rescue this shot is at the bottom of the swing right here. I've got to send the ball on a new line. This is called realigning the shot, and it's difficult to do well on a consistent basis. Now, the opposite of these problems is a swing that wants to go behind my back. It wraps around behind my hip like this. And the problem with it is it comes toward delivery, it's coming from an angle behind my hip, and it wants to go right of target. And correcting it and doing it well can be difficult on a consistent basis also. And it's interesting that the problem or cause of both of these problems can be the same in both cases, and that is too much muscle in the swing. So the first thing we want to do is to free up that swing. Remember a few weeks ago we talked about the push away, putting out on that imaginary table and letting the ball swing freely? That's what we need to do first. Put that ball out on that table and let gravity pull it back into a nice, free, straight swing. Remember that a free swing will be a straight swing. Now this doesn't immediately correct your problem. Here are a couple other tips. If your problem is the swing out, the one that wants to get away from your body, what you need to do is at the beginning, take the ball and push it right. What this will do is get the ball swinging on a plane that wants to go behind your back a little bit, countering your natural tendency to swing the ball out and hopefully creating a straight swing between the two. If your problem is the opposite, the one that wants to come behind your back, what you need to do is take the ball and push it gently toward the center of your body. This will cause the ball to swing away, countering your natural tendency to bring it behind your back, and again, hopefully creating a straight swing. In conclusion, remember that a free swing is a straight swing. So try and free up that swing first of all. And if your problem is the swing out, push it right. If your problem is wrapping it behind your back, push it left and see if you don't have a straighter swing doing this. We'll see you again next week.
Thus far, Ricky Corona is 1 for 1, and next in line as he tries to ascend up the ladder is 26-year-old Ron Williams out of Cahokia, Illinois. We'll be right back with that one right after this.
What does this ski resort in the Alps have in common with?
This rooftop restaurant in Rome.
Or this medieval dining room.
And this California windmill.
They're all part of the world's largest lodging chain and instant reservation system, Best Western, with distinctively different hotels joining our family all the time. Best Western, the right place to stay at the right price all over the world. So call us now.
Call 1-800-528-1234. Best Western, 1.
The great furniture cover-up. When polishing can't solve problems, you have to cover those ugly white rings, or maybe the whole dull table. But instead of covering your furniture,
rescue it with Formby's Furniture Facelift. Facelift is a breakthrough, a complete kit for a perfect shine. And the 3 easy steps took me under an hour without stripping. So pick up some facelift and end the great furniture cover-up.
when polishing won't help, a furniture facelift will. From Homer Formby.
And there's a good look at Ricky Corona and Ron Williams, ready for match number 2 here in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And the Packers are in training camp, and that's always a big story here in Green Bay.
Yeah, went by, watched him a little bit this week.
Well, I have to tell you, of course, I'm a Cleveland Browns fan, and Lindy Infante, the offensive coordinator for the Browns, no longer at Municipal Stadium. He's working as the head coach here at Green Bay, and I know one thing, they'll be filling the air with footballs.
Well, Corona wants to fill the score with strikes, but right now he'll settle for a spare. It looks like the lanes are breaking down. That left lane looks like it's breaking down quickly. Now, that's the one they said hooked a little bit more than the right lane, yet everybody's chosen to finish on it.
This week's average for Ricky Corona, 206.23.
Already this evening, he has defeated Joe Firpo, 193 to 163. And first opportunity to take a look at a rather unique arm swing.
Did you see that town he was from? Cahokia, Illinois. Ron with a very unusual swing, as we'll see as he makes this delivery. Right to the heart, a little more speed than Corona. Ron said he developed that style as a young player coming up. That started out, he started when he was about 12, but started using a 16-pound ball when he was 16, and he just had a short backswing, and as he linked it a little bit more, it turned out that way, but he was knocking down pins, so he never changed.
It's kind of a little bit of a loop-de-loop. It's not really even an arm swing. It's almost like he carries the ball all the way.
Well, he does carry. Now, we'll watch it from both the side and the rear here. Get a shot of it here. Pushes the ball and steps right at the same time, but now he's controlling all the way. And you see it turn, the shoulders turn. Boy, from that shot from behind, you wonder how he's strong enough to do that. As he gets to this point here down, looks the same as anyone else now. It's not something I would recommend to anyone. He's practiced it enough to make it work for him.
Gets a little break there as the 4-pin falls. The 7 remains. How in the world could you ever get any speed? And we've got some dead wood there laying in the left-hand channel on 15.
And the rule is
cleared away
on that then, yeah, they can't shoot the spare with that dead wood in the channel. The mechanic gets it out of there. He's obviously a very strong man. I would think, I wouldn't know, but throwing the ball that way would require extra strength. It's just, you're bending your arm, you're carrying 16 pounds there. But it's just something that's natural to him right now. He's bowled thousands of games that way, so he doesn't even think about it. His only thought is, Tommy Hudson used to say out here, they don't pay you for how good you look, but for how many you knock down.
Yeah, aptly said.
High again. Well, we haven't had a ball in the 1-3 pocket yet with these two players. It's interesting, whoever wins this match, I would think that the edge is definitely going to be with our top 2 players, with Husted and Berardi having all the experience and all the titles, 8 for Berardi and 5 for Husted, and none for these 2 players.
Whoever would win this match, should they go on to get to the championship and win, they would then qualify
for the Firestone Tournament of Champions. Correct.
But that's a long way off at this stage. I don't know. I guess maybe I look at it from a completely different vantage point, but if I had thrown, I don't know how many Corona throws 4 strikes in the first game. Now he's spare in the second. I mean, sooner or later you got to think about an alternate plan. Maybe move a little right and start throwing the ball, start throwing some rockets or something through the track, and he at least hit the pocket. You can't throw strikes throwing it right through the nose.
Sometimes you get so locked in into such tunnel vision, it never even occurs to you. I didn't see anybody throw a practice shot right at the 3rd arrow during the half-hour of practice.
Well, we'll find out if maybe somebody tries. I doubt it, though. A little more speed this time on the left-hand lane, and still no reward. And Corona and Williams working on their spare game.
And that's going to be it. I think the guy that breaks down the most splits and makes the spares is going to win this game.
Now, if it were you, and you were out there and you had played a game and a half and you weren't hitting the pocket, you weren't throwing strikes, would you pull out another ball and move to the right?
It depends whether I was making good shots or not. If I was making good shots and getting this kind of result and didn't feel like to make an adjustment and get the ball into 1-3, I'd certainly think about it, but it's hard to do when you're still in the match. If you're behind, it's a lot easier to do. But I guarantee if I'd been out there in a half-hour practice, I'd at least throw 1 or 2 shots right in the 3rd arrow to see what it did.
Ron Williams with the mental edge over Ricky Corona, perhaps heading into this one. A little more loft, and now we get a good shot. Well, Williams does have an unorthodox style, but he does loft the lane a little further out of the lane. Maybe he can get it to delay and still hit in the back end.
Well, that's exactly what he did then. He had a lot of side roll, but a lot of loft. He got the ball 4 or 5 feet out onto the lane, and it went a lot further before it started hooking. And that's what you have to do with that deep inside angle. You got to have that swing going inside out, get the ball to delay and break at the back end. Here's why I always had trouble in there.
I love his bowling goal to win a title and to shoot a 300 game in the process. Well, he's got the right fist up, but Ron Williams realizes that he got away with one there. Nevertheless, he leads by 13.
Smooth, cold-aged Genesee. It's not just a beer, it's a Jenny.
You love our service too. Check Bill Miller before you buy. The choice and the price are the reasons why. Bill Miller, Ford, Mercury, Dodge.
Route 230, Elizabethtown. Find out how aggressive women golfers have to be to win at the Pat Bradley International. Then golf legends gather for the U.S. Senior Open, Thursday and Friday afternoon, live on ESPN.
Out of the hometown of Orange, California, it's Ricky Corona. And after going 0 for 15 in the winter, he certainly has bowled much better here on the summer tour, but he trails by 13 in game number 2.
He's got to keep the speed up, Dad. He can't get soft. The ball's just hooking way too soon. He's, like you say, he's either got to get deeper and find a ball where it's going to skid, or he's got to make a drastic move right.
He's so deep right now, he's getting a nosebleed down there. He's playing the 5th arrow.
Well,
where else can he go?
He's got to think about moving right.
Either that or maybe a little more loft, huh? Maybe a little more speed or loft. He's laying the ball down. He's hitting it nice. Ball rolls well, but that's an overreaction.
See the ball even hooking when he straightens it out at the spare.
Is that the same ball?
Same ball.
Thought he might have a spare ball there.
No, he's only got one out.
Takes a good look at the rack on the left-hand lane and going to give it a try. Next in line, Dave Husted, the top seed, Joe Berardi. So a pair of seasoned PBA champions waiting in the wings.
Right down the edge of this match has to go to Williams simply because he's got a little more loft, a little more speed. Corona just lays the ball down, doesn't get the ball out on the lane nearly as far. Again, got the Brooklyn. Then he's got to do something. Either that or just aim for Brooklyn and hope for the best.
Ever throw a shot like that?
Where I aim for Brooklyn?
Yep.
Yeah, I think I have. Never hit it.
Never on national TV, probably, either.
This is the old Jersey squasher here.
Of course, our television coordinator, Chuck Pisano, being from Clifton, New Jersey, would obviously know what that would be, a Jersey squasher. He probably threw many of those in his illustrious career, a member of 9 Halls of Fame. Pretty good shot there, trying for 3 in a row, but I think you're right. Williams with a slight edge here. At least he's got the ball in the neighborhood of the pocket.
Let's see if Corona, who's not hit the pocket this whole game, and still is clean with a strike up, makes a move when he gets back up again.
Williams looking to up the old television average and win game number 1.
At the 4 pitch. It hurried up, got it. A little wry smile there.
Oh, ye of little faith.
Right, I know. I'm always doing that. Forgive me.
You didn't used to react like that when you shot spares, did you?
No, I knew I missed him.
Oh, boy. Well, he leads by 14, but I wouldn't say that was safe right now.
Well, turn on one little hit here. And really, we've only had 2 balls in the pocket. Williams in the 3rd frame and the 5th frame on the right lane. He hasn't hit the pocket on this left lane yet either. Now he has. Nice shot there.
Good adjustment on lane 15, and now it's up to Ricky Corona to double up. He trails by 14, but could cut the lead to 4.
Let's see what he does. He's as far left as he can get. See if he kind of walks left around the ball return after the first 2 steps of his approach. He's in the left gutter. He got it there, though. Well, he's sliding in the left gutter.
Thanks to modern technology, in the old days, the ball returns went all the way to the foul line, and that was really tough.
Watch this now. There's the first step, 5 steps, pushes it on the second. 3rd step comes up, and it goes left. On the target, watching no slide at all, and it's right in the left channel. He's another one of the planters, the young kids that doesn't slide. Now he can get as far left as he wants on the left lane. The ball return's not a factor. All he did was move deeper, then.
Well, and in deep trouble now, perhaps, is Mr. Williams, because he's gone from 14 up to 6 down. 3 in a row by Corona. We'll be right back.
When it comes to pitching, you can never be satisfied with your performance. You have to feel you can do even better, to be the best there is. And when it comes to sports weeklies, the best there is for my money is the sporting news, with more baseball coverage than you'll find anywhere else. Exclusive features, photos, updates, and inside stories, plus thousands of stats, box scores, and authoritative baseball facts in every issue. The sporting news, the most baseball for your money, and now it's yours at a terrific 75% savings.
Call 1-800-638-1200 and get 55 big issues of the Sporting News for 4 easy payments of just $7.50. You'll save 75% off the cover price, save 50% off the regular subscription rate. So call now, 1-800-638-1200. That's 1-800-638-1200.
The tables have now been turned on Ron Williams. He led a couple of minutes ago, and now after the Corona Turkey, he trails by 6. So we'll find out whether or not he can double up and take the lead back.
Yeah, we certainly will. And I guess Ricky moving deeper and getting 2 strikes in a row in the pocket there shows why we're sitting up here and he's down there bowling. You and I both would have moved right and gotten nothing.
That's right. We were chatting with Chuck Pierce, who qualified for the finals this week, our statistician, and Chuck said, guys, I moved out right this week, and didn't work real well out there. Deeper and deeper they go, but the reaction is good. Unfortunately, the half 10 settles in on lane 16.
And he's just stuck a little bit at the line, came up a little bit, didn't get the lift on it that he wanted, had the accuracy. Wipes that foot down. Watch him at the foul line. You see, he's just stuck right there and definitely came up. And he's left to the 4th arrow, so they're both in around the 5th arrow.
The thing that amazes me is all the instructors teach you that nice deep knee bend and follow through, and yet Williams is standing straight up at the line when he lets it go.
Well, he was on that shot. Right? The old adage that there's more than one way to skin a cat, but I still go by the standard instruction of the deep knee bend and the slide. Bowling's a lifetime sport, and it's just a lot easier to do it that way. It doesn't mean it can't be done other ways.
through the nose on the left-hand lane, and as he heads into the 9th, you can see Ron Williams saying, running out of time here. I got to throw a few more strikes.
It's just almost like a lackadaisical shot that time. It just wasn't as concentrated as he was the shot before when he left the 10-pin.
Match play record this week, 14 wins and 10 losses. High game was 279. He'd like to have any portion of that right now.
Well, Corona up by 8, headed for the 8th frame. See if he can keep throwing strikes.
Well, you made a great observation when he takes his first couple of steps, and then he just darts dead left once the ball return ends and gives himself a little room.
I remember watching Sam Flanagan do that in a number of tournaments. Has to hurry. Well, it's a 5-pin lead right now if he makes this. And the last time he left this on this lane, he missed it. And bowlers have a way of remembering those things. Bowlers are the best mathematicians around. And they have memories that go back a long way.
Well, it's a numbers game. Corona trying to increase his odds of advancing. Oh, my. Rather precarious pickup.
Well, yeah, nevertheless, though, he made the adjustment for the last time. He went more direct at it and made the spare easily. And I take it back, Denny. He does have 2 balls down there, and he is switching on the spares.
I thought he did. Crucial 9th frame setup shot for Ricky Corona.
It's amazing. Both bowlers are clean all the way through the game so far. And all those at home are saying, you had to go and say that. You're going to jinx him. He goes right through the heart of the pins and leaves the 6-10. And we've got a 3-pin match if he makes his spare.
Well, if he would spare and strike out, he would shoot 219.
The best potential score Ron Williams can get is 226. And he stays clean through 9 frames.
Corona with the conversion. Williams trails by 3, but he could change that scenario here in the 9th. And, of course, the 10th. Ron has 2 PBA regional titles, and both of those are doubles events when he teamed up with Rowdy Morrow. And Rowdy finished 9th this week, and, of course, he captured the Touring Pro Doubles Championship with Mickey Spezio in this bowling center last year.
He bowled well this year. He was in the hunt all the way through. Nice shot. Ooh, did you see him knock that 10-pin out of there? Pretty shot. Watch the 6-pin, second from the right. The ball's going to hit half pocket from deep inside. It still knocks the 10-pin out of there.
Little oomph there. Not a high percentage carry, pocket carry from in there in 4th arrow, is it, Mike?
Well, we see we haven't had a lot of strikes. Williams has got 4. Corona's got 3. Yet Corona's still ahead. Williams can change that right now. High. Breaks it up. Big breakup. Leaves only the 6-pin. Anything can happen, Denny. I'm confident that he's going to make the 6-pin. A strike would give him 206. Corona then would be forced to fill 18 pins in the 10th frame to win by a stick.
So we'd need at least a mark and then some decent count.
He needs a decent count on the first ball, too.
Right.
Like 9 spare 9. Not his best shot. Hands down was safe that he made that spare.
Yeah.
Interesting. Everybody picked to finish on this left lane. Yet there haven't been that many strikes on the left lane.
Ron's fiancée, Bonnie Hartman, is in attendance here this evening, and they'll be married sometime next April. A little victory tonight sure would help the honeymoon.
205, meaning Corona needs to fill 17 pins. And it's interesting, Dan, because on this right lane, he has only had one ball in the pocket the whole game. That was in the 6th frame.
Now, do you make dead sure that you get this one right so that you don't throw the split?
If I were thinking of it, I would just make sure that I was firm going through, kept the speed up, and tried to get the ball toward the target.
Okay.
Exactly what he did.
Boy, what a classy shot that was in the clutch.
Well, Mark Baker knew what he was talking about when he said this kid can throw strikes when he needs to.
He just needs to throw more of them.
Right now, he's throwing enough to win.
Still not over yet, though.
Well, he needs, 7 pins on 2 balls.
It's a good bat.
I think even I can handle that at this point. Maybe. It's a question mark.
With 2 shots.
With 2 shots.
Right.
That's 9, and that's a winner.
Well, Corona continues as his mom looks on and appreciates victory number 2. Ron Williams will bow out in 4th place. And Ricky Corona will continue to climb up the ladder. He kiddingly told me before the telecast there have been a number of guys who have won 4 games and titles this year. It could happen to me. There you see Ron Williams with 5,500. But the story now is the kids from Orange, California. Can he continue to advance? We'll have to wait to find out.
For great personal service and low everyday prices, check the lineup at your neighborhood True Value hardware store, where the August bargain of the month is this West Bin Clock Timer 2. Perfect for baking or browning. It reminds you about the laundry and wakes you from a nap. This 24-hour timer counts up or down, then becomes a digital clock. Pick up the West Bin Clock Timer 2 for just $5.99, where you see the banner at participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
Oh, baby, come on. Let me take you where the action is. Oh, baby, come on. Let me take you where the action is. Oh, baby, come on. Let me take you where the action is. Showtime's gonna take you where the action is.
Check out Showtime's exclusive action lineup of blockbusting hits and original shows. RoboCop, Stakeout, Beverly Hills Cop 2, The Untouchables, and more.
Showtime's gonna take you where the action is.
It's not on HBO. The action's on Showtime.
There have been a number of technological advances in the bowling industry through the years, but perhaps the most important over the last 5 or 6 years has been the development of the urethane bowling ball. Here's a look at the latest in the industry. In the game of golf, there's an old saying. You drive for show and you putt for dough. The putter is every golfer's money club. In baseball, the bat is what makes or breaks the long ball hitters. In tennis, it's the tightness of the strings and the feel of the grip that keeps a player on his game. But in bowling, the urethane ball has changed the game like no other piece of bowling equipment.
The equipment that they're playing with, say, as opposed to 15 years ago, there's no comparison to the bowling balls that are available today, and the manufacturers, the quality of the equipment is outstanding. The lane conditions, the surfaces they're playing on are completely different than they were 15 or 20 years ago. It's a completely different game. It's more of a power game now, as before it was more of a finesse game.
I've been using the same ball for the last 2 months. I don't think you're going to find too many other players who've done that. And I just have a little different philosophy. I like a ball that feels good, and I use it for a long time until I feel that it's just totally worn out, where some of the other players use it 1 week and they feel that it's worn out after the 1 week.
This traveling pro shop, which is owned and operated by Larry Lickstein, traverses the United States with the PBA Tour and helps players select specific equipment. Bill Hall travels and oversees the truck, and he also makes sure that every ball meets PBA standards.
Out here, if you make a mistake, the ball reacts to that mistake. So out here, equipment, you have to have a lot of knowledge. You have to know which equipment to go to. But the pros have that edge because they experiment a lot. They deal with that equipment all the time.
Every ball that enters PBA competition is checked for hardness and balance. The hardness of each piece of equipment must read higher than 75 on a durometer scale. To meet the proper balance requirements, the ball must be 1 ounce from side to side and 3 ounces from top to bottom.
What that does is just measures the outer surface of the ball, measures the texture, how hard it is. But today, with today's urethane bowling balls, that really doesn't show you as much as you need to know. In other words, a ball that's 78 hardness on the durometer, there could be 2 urethane balls with the same hardness. But one can go fairly straight and one can hook a lot more. So to have that knowledge, you have to be out here. You have to understand it.
Since the advent of the new urethane age in equipment, do the pro bowlers really have an edge over the amateurs?
Pros do have an edge. What people don't realize is that when you're bowling at home and you're bowling in what we call house conditions, the conditions of the lanes tend to be a lot easier. There's a way of laying oil on a lane to where if you make a mistake, it doesn't show up in the reaction of the ball. Out here, if you make a mistake, the ball reacts to that mistake.
There's no doubt that urethane equipment has changed the game, and of course the urethane ball has been the main difference. In his 16-year career, Joe Berardi has never lost from the top seed position. When we return, Mike Durbin will ask him what the game plan is for another win here this evening.
Okay, pal, this is where we start.
This bug's for all that you do.
This is where we start. Papers say you busted it up pretty good. Too fancy for you, huh?
You got a long road back. You missed the cheers. One more. Can you beat those doubts and fears?
Ready? Not today. Don't you mean never?
For that something that won't let us quit, the clean, crisp taste of Beechwood Aged Budweiser.
To your first game back. Thanks, buddy.
This bug's for you.
For sports news, turn to the experts. Experts who take you wherever sports happen, whatever time of day. ESPN Sports Center, America's sports authority.
Mike Durbin back here at Red Carpet Lanes with our tournament leader this week, Joe Berardi. And Joe, just last, I think, May 2nd, your wife had twin boys.
That's right.
How are they doing?
They're doing great. They're eating us out of house and home. They're keeping my wife awake once in a while at night, but they're doing great.
May 2nd, my birthday's May 3rd.
Oh, well, but you're not a day older or a day younger than they are, Mike.
No, just a few years older. You're the father of 4 right now. How old's the oldest?
The oldest is 5.
So you've got 4 kids, 5 years and younger. How do you handle being on tour all the time and still being the father of 4?
Well, it gets a little difficult, but AT&T loves me.
I'm sure they do.
They really do. Phone bills are astronomical, but it's the only way that I can make a decent living. You know, the tour provides a good living for me, and unfortunately, we're going to have to struggle for a while.
Joe, you grew up in the East. You bowled in a lot of tough conditions. Did all that background, growing up bowling in those conditions, help you this week in this tough condition?
Sure. You know, growing up in the East where the conditions are, like you said, very difficult, 190-2-0 was a good score. So you had to learn how to grind out a game, make your spares, and make all shots count as much as possible. And I feel it acted as an advantage to me this week because this type of condition I'm very familiar with.
You're 4-0 from the top spot. Is that experience going to be a help from you in this final game that you've got coming up? What's your strategy?
Oh, my strategy is I'm looking to go 5-0.
Very simple. Well, Dan, he says he's ready. Let's see. In a couple more games, we'll find out.
Top seed position is coming up next. It's Ricky Corona and Dave Husted. Whoever wins that one will have to face the undefeated Joe Berardi.
You've been part of the fun. Now be part of the Hershey Entertainment and Resort Company team. We have immediate employment opportunities with the Hotel Hershey, Hershey Lodge and Convention Center, Hershey Park, and our many other divisions. Hershey Entertainment and Resort Company has numerous positions available for people of all ages. Now hiring for part-time and seasonal openings. For additional information, call 534-3131 or stop by our employment office at 300 Park Boulevard in Hershey.
Bowling in the USA. Bowling in the USA.
We're having a party this weekend. Celebrate with 25-cent bowling and enter our Bowling in the USA sweepstakes. Win award-winning Jeep Cherokees, named 4x4 of the year again. Trips to the Showboat Hotel and Casino. Over 70,000 prizes.
Bowling, bowling, bowling in the USA.
Clearview Lanes, Route 230 between Mount Joy and Elizabethtown.
What's the best brokerage account for an active investor? Ask a Schwab customer.
With my Schwab One asset management account, my money's never idle. When I sell a stock or I get a dividend, my cash instantly starts earning income. And it keeps on earning until I make my next investment.
When I need to get to my cash or take out a loan, I just use my Schwab Visa or write a check. Schwab One makes it easy.
All my financial moves are right here, and one simple statement. Now, you might expect to pay a lot of money for an account this handy, and not with Schwab One. There's no monthly fee. Now, that's real value.
To get your free booklet and an application for the Schwab One Asset Management account, call toll-free 800-848-8900. That's 800-848-8900. Call now for your free Schwab One booklet.
Ricky Corona stands alone because Dave Husted at the last moment grabbing a little cool drink of water. There's David trying to relax a little bit before the semifinal game, and he appears to be ready for this match.
Well, you know, he's been on TV, 6 times this year without a championship, and it's been a couple years since he's won, so I think he's ready.
Overdue, but Ricky Corona with victories over Joe Firpo and Ron Williams has had 2 full games to get a feel for the championship pair.
Well, you know, sometimes you get in this situation when you got fortunate the game before, you broke up a lot of splits and everything, and you turn loose and shoot a big game. He gets the classic wall shot here. Definitely, he's getting left of the 5th arrow now. The ball, head pin goes to the wall, 4, 5, 7, go right on out. If David comes out, throws a double right away, look out, Mr. Corona.
Well, as you've mentioned, Husted tied for 2nd right now on the tour with championship round appearances with 6.
Look at those eyes. He's got his, you know, cliche quote game face on, but he just really wants to win right now. Aimed that one. Just turned it early and didn't get it off his thumb. Tried to be intense all the way through, but could not make the shot he wanted to make.
Fortunate that all he left was the 6 pin. We've seen that a few times tonight.
Well, he could have got to Brooklyn. He got it over. You got to make a mistake, make it big enough, huh?
David in his career with a 21-24 match play record on national television, an excellent average of 218.7 in 29 telecasts, but I think more importantly, if you look at him right now, he leads the tour in cashes. He has cashed in 21 of 24 events this year as Ricky Corona opts for the re-rack on lane 16.
I think he leads in most times in the match play portion of the tournament too. He's just had a steady year. The only thing he hasn't done is win. Corona get the adrenaline going.
Confidence continuing to grow for Ricky Corona, who starts with a double. He's averaging only 201 on the championship pair, and he's made the strikes last and be worthwhile because he's only had 4 X's in each of the first 2 games, and yet he's come away unscathed.
That's making maximum use of the 10-pin knockdown.
Let me ask you this. What would the average number of strikes be per professional throughout a normal week? Per game?
Say 6. Ooh, boy, he made a pretty shot. Dave Husted says, thank you, because he stared at some strings, you know, on television lately. Remember, Brian Alpert put a 6 or 7 bagger on him back in Dublin.
Yep. Kreitz beat him in Seattle. David with 2 fourth-place finishes this summer alone. They were back-to-back. So he's had the hot hand, but unfortunately, as these things go through the years, you get on television sometimes, and your opponent just seems to shoot those big games at you.
Mark Roth, his last 3 times in the championship round, has shot .740 himself and hasn't won a game.
That's hard to believe, and yet it's happened. Got to be a little slap happy after that, don't you?
Pretty shot. Now he picked the finish on this left lane. See how hard he's lifting up on that ball? He lifts so hard sometimes that he takes his track and moves it back up toward the finger hole, and we will hear that maybe 1 or 2 times tonight. It's not the thumb hole with him. If we hear a little rumble, it's the track nicking the middle finger.
Now explain what track would mean to the average player who might not know.
The track is where the ball rolls every time. After you let go of the ball, you get a track on the ball. It's grooves, little nicks in the ball. Bad shot again. He just never got all the thumb clean on that shot. He's aiming the ball in the left lane. He has to make this baby split to keep himself in the match.
Averaged 205 on the television pair this week.
Now watch the thumb go down and the follow-through go right. It just steered. See that? It's just not his normal release at all. Hand went over the top of the ball. Nice shot. See how much cleaner the spare shot was than the first shot?
So Husted converts the baby split, but he still trails by 9 because Corona doubled in the first and the second. Back with more semifinal action right after this.
One way to find a job is to look in publications. Lots of publications.
Any luck?
Well, I've got newspapers, magazines, trade papers.
Find anything yet?
Newsletters, phone books, you name it.
There's a better way to find a better job.
Honey, look at this.
The National Business Employment Weekly.
It's published by the Wall Street Journal. It lists hundreds of high-paying jobs all across the country.
Now, what about managerial jobs?
Managerial, professional, technical, sales like mine. It even has articles on interviewing, writing a better resume, and how to succeed once you get the job.
What am I doing with all of these now that I have the National Business Employment Weekly?
Pick up the National Business Employment Weekly at a newsstand or call 800-372-3000 and receive 8 issues by first-class mail for only $35. 800-372-3000. The National Business Employment Weekly.
Don't make a career move without it.
It's Corona by 9, and we are in the early stages of the semifinal game. Joe Berardi, the top seed this week, is finishing up his practice preparation for the championship game. Whoever wins this one between Corona and Husted will bowl for the LaMode Classic title.
He's getting himself wired into the pocket. He's hit the pocket more this game already than he did the entire last game.
Let me ask you this, Mike. Is it me or is it an optical illusion? It appears as if Corona is hooking the ball less and less. It looks like he's trying to go a little straighter with it, and it's working.
He could be making a subtle adjustment with his hand release just to try and keep the ball in the 1-3-5. I think he's just getting cleaner releases, a little more speed, and getting the ball where he wants to. We said all week long that we needed a premium on accuracy.
Watch this next shot, though, and see if his hand is a little more behind the ball. a little more roll end over end rather than the side roll, because it doesn't look like he's getting the overreaction in the first 15 feet that he had the first couple games.
Well, whatever he's doing it right.
The ball just seems to be going straighter through the first 15 feet than it did in the first couple of games. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
Well, he's got 2 balls down there. Maybe you switch balls.
Possibility. They're both the same kind of ball. Husted has loved the right-hand lane, and man, it's been flush city on 16.
Isn't it interesting how the bowlers so often, Firpo, the first game, picked a finish on the right lane, never got a strike on it. Husted's picked a finish on the left lane, hasn't hit the pocket on it yet. Hasn't made a good shot on it.
He did in practice, though.
Yeah, he did in practice.
But it's obviously the lane that's hooking a little more, and I think he realizes that, and he's just cutting it off a little bit.
That's right. It's just the pressure of wanting to get that double. He can take the lead with this strike right here. Not his ace shot. He drilled that follow through again.
Took a good hard look at lane 15 when he backed up, but that one was throttle city on the left-hand lane. That one didn't have a chance to hook.
He just drilled that follow through. It was like a knockdown shot in golf. I mean, he just zoom.
It was there before he even knew it. Didn't look like he got out of it real clean, but that might have helped him on the shot.
Well, it was flush. That's what counts, and he got 10 pins down.
Yep, and he leads now by 2, so the pressure swings back to Corona here in the 6th.
Ooh. When you're sitting on the bench watching your opponent go Brooklyn, you're thinking, oh, no. He leaves a solid 6-10 on the Brooklyn side. See, it's execution, Dan. That ball hooked early on him, but he just didn't throw it as well as he had the first 4 or 5 frames. That's all.
Ricky went 15-9 in match play this week, and this really has to rejuvenate him, though, regardless of where he finishes tonight, because it's been a long, hard road back to the championship round.
Makes the 6-10. Keeps himself only 2 pins down.
He was so funny last night after he had shot 170 and 150. I was down watching some of the action and sat down next to him, and he was in the midst of shooting another 150. He said, Denny, you know, I'm playing too much tic-tac-toe out here tonight. Too many zeros and X's and dashes.
Ooh, it's amazing when your opponent gets a double what it can do to you. 4, 6, 7. He's hit the nose enough times tonight. This is the first time he's really got penalized. No slide. Over the 5th arrow. It just bites, see it hook early right there, and stopped right on the nose.
And he paid the price dearly his first Open since the very first game. So right now, Dave Husted leads by 16. He's working on a double, and he could be advancing to the title game if he throws a couple more.
The best thing about Kmart, having Wrangler Stonewashed jeans on sale, is that even though they look great with just about anything, at $15 a pair, you can still afford to treat them like jeans. Wrangler jeans, on sale now at Kmart.
Nice beard. An electric razor doesn't shave that close. It's not your razor, man. It's your face.
Without Electric Shave, your beard just lays there. Electric Shave stands up your beard so it shaves down close, lubricates for comfort.
Good tip.
Electric Shave for a closer, smoother shave.
There's a level of performance that separates the good from the great. That's why Carmen Salvino designed the Ebonite Thunderbolt. The exclusive power core increases gyroscopic action for a sharper hook on heavy oil. and the Thunderbolt rolls farther before hooking, so it hits harder for less deflection and more striking power. The difference between good and great is the power of the Thunderbolt.
It's the Kentucky Derby of harness racing, a grueling test of speed and stamina as top trotters go flat out for harness racing's highest honor, the Hambletonian, Saturday night at 6 Eastern on ESPN.
And don't forget to join Mike and I next week on ESPN as the PBA Summer Tour heads up north for the championship round finals of the Molson Golden Bowling Challenge at Rose Bowl Lanes in Windsor, Ontario.
Always one of my favorite stops.
Looking for 3 in a row. He has just lobbed the right-hand lane. Oh, ho, 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 the 7-pin finally toppled.
And I don't know what pin hit the 7. I think I'd have to see the replay. I really don't know what. Some pin hit another pin. It bounced up and hit. Let's watch it and see if we can pick out what pin hit the 7-pin here. Didn't look like he was going to get it. Comes in light. The ball's going to get the 5, barely. The 5 goes over, and it was the head pin, I think, that hit the 5 and bounced back in and hit the 7.
A little help from his friend, the head pin. Some gang tackling there. This one to really grab control.
Watch the follow through. He's still steering the ball in the left lane. He's not confident over there. He's just not comfortable on the left lane.
All right, now Joe Berardi is obviously watching the telecast from the practice pair. He has noted that. And what about his strategy?
His strategy still's got to come out and finish on the lane that he is most comfortable on. Joe's the type of bowler, I think he'll try and finish on the left lane. He'll want to get his score posted first, regardless of the fact that Husted is drilling the right lane. Hurry. Boy, just opened the door for him.
Well, how fast it moves back and forth. Everyone just about ready to pencil Husted into the championship game, and now all of a sudden,
it's an 11-pin ball game. It's right back. It's an 11-pin ball game.
Corona re-racks on lane 16 to get a chance to gather himself and realize he trails by 11, but there's still some room.
Yeah, but he's still over 10 pins, and that's important. Even though he missed that spare, if it had gotten under 10, Corona could have stepped up and thrown 2 strikes and taken the lead. This gives him life, though. Watch him. I bet he makes a better shot this time. It's amazing how the strategy of match play goes back and forth. That opponent gives you that opening, and suddenly there's a little bit better shot. Ask for a re-rack on this left lane. Watch him now. Crisper. Watch the release. See, it's around, hand behind and turn, and just dead flush. That's how he threw him in the 10th frame last night to make the telecast.
The professionals receiving 3 racks each for every game on national television, and right now Corona is fresh out of re-racks.
I think this is the most important shot he's thrown all week, Ted, right here. Just hooked early on him again, and he leaves a 3-6. It looked like the right shoulder just went down a little bit, and you're telling yourself in that situation, you've got to trust it, you've got to trust it, and then it's just so hard to make your body do what your mind is telling it to.
Husted mesmerized by the right-hand lane as most of the time the pros will be concentrating on what type of shot they're going to throw even while their opponent's in the midst of bowling.
He's got to hurry, too. Boy! We see why the boys didn't play outside all week long. That ball wants to slide out there. Watch it. He played it right where he's played his strikeout. Normally you move left, and it just barely gets back and hits the 3-pit. He's saying, come on, just nick it. Thank you.
Ah, yes, relief. Strike on 16. Husted with a wry smile, but believe you me, he's going to take the X.
He'll take the X, a little nose job. He wants a re-rack on this left lane.
Now let's see if he can get it to the right side of the pocket. He did have a turkey in the 5th, the 6th, and the 7th, but the strike on the left-hand lane was...
It was a good strike. We just didn't like his delivery because he just drilled it. I mean, he's
telling himself, get it out and get it a little further right this time, David. Meanwhile, Corona's saying, I still have an outside chance, but not if he strikes here.
Has to hurry. Boy, that's why he hasn't been giving it room. 1, 2, 4. He's got to make this spare. Now, right now, what's going through his mind, then, is how far over do I move? If I move too far, it's going to hook soon. I go by, but I got to get up to it. He'll probably just move right and throw hard and straight and take very little time. Has it. See how easy that follow-through was, though?
Now, if he strikes, the match is over.
That's right.
9 count, we have a possibility of a tie.
You got it. Potential score for Husted is 205. The potential score for Corona is 204 if he strikes it out.
There's the and then a solid 10. Well, Husted could have locked the door and thrown away the key, and there you see the big deep breath by Corona, who grabs the rosin bag and realizes 3 in a row, and it's on
a roll-off.
10th.
And it's a roll-off. Well, he did it last night. Can he do it now? He's had better success on this right lane than the left. Has to hurry. 2-4-5, and Husted's going to bowl Berardi.
Well, he gave it a chance, gave it a little room as Husted mops the brow, and Corona will finish 3rd this week. And, boy, he really made the valiant effort.
It was just one of those grind-out games that we predicted at the top of the show, making the spares and trying to stay clean and getting a double or a turkey somewhere in the middle.
I'm sure that Ricky can use the check worth $6,000. It'll boost his earnings a little bit, and I think his confidence as well.
Well, he certainly handled himself very well. Was in every game and had a chance to even win this one.
So Husted advances with a 204-190 victory over Ricky Corona. And Joe Berardi is coming up next to bowl for his 9th career PBA championship. Balls in hand and got the game face on. But coming up before that, we'll have a look at bowling news.
As members of the American Bowling Congress, these men receive valuable benefits. In sanctioned leagues, they know their games count, and standard rules help the fun along. Awards give them proper recognition. They get their shot at national competition, and they're helping our country's Team USA. When these members go bowling, they know being organized is more fun.
Get in league with America. Join the ABC.
You know what this party needs? Spuds McKenzie.
Super party animal. Come on, baby, do it now. Spuds McKenzie. His name is Spuds McKenzie. Oh, party hard. With the party shipping right. A cold bud puts him in a party frenzy.
Spuds McKenzie, party's right with only Bud Light. He knows everything else is just a light.
Go, Spuds, go.
Spuds gives motion to the ocean.
Welcome back to Red Carpet Lanes for this week's edition of the Bowling News. Welcome back, everybody, and now we have breezed through week number 7 on the PBA Summer Tour. So without further ado, let's check out who's in the top 10 as far as the money earners are concerned. Bob Benoit still on top of the stack right now. He is bowling very well with earnings in excess of $163,000 at this stage. Now, Brian Voss is closing the gap. Pete Weber has now dropped to number 3, while Mark Williams and Marshall Holman round out the top 5. Tony Westlake, as a result of his top 10 finish in last week's Hammer Open, is now number 6 on the current list. while Walter Ray Williams Jr. is a solid 7th. Regardless of where he finishes here this evening, Dave Husted will surpass the $87,000 barrier here tonight, while Pete McCordick, who ended up 17th this week, along with Dave Ferraro, make up the rest of the top 10. Also, our leader this evening, Joe Berardi, will move into the top 10 regardless of whether he finishes first or second tonight. Meanwhile, on the PBA average front, Mark Roth continues to lead the way. Pete Weber and Brian Voss are running neck and neck, while Old Deadeye and Marshall Holman currently fill out the top 5. For the second consecutive week, Bob Learn Jr. has captured an Eastern Regional event. To make matters even more interesting, Bob and Charlie Del Plato tied their match games 300 to 300. Only the 4th time in PBA history that a perfect game was not good enough to collect the 30 bonus pins. Out in the Great Northwest, Bruce Russell finished just ahead of touring pro Hugh Miller. The road to bowling in Seoul, South Korea must now run through Melbourne and also Apopka, Florida this coming week, as more of the qualifying rounds are scheduled to take place there. And of course, now pictured here are Debbie McMullen and Harry Mickelson, the current leaders of the Team USA competition, but with several qualifying games left, the top 2 spots are still up for grabs. Debbie and Harry are just 2 of nearly 250,000 amateur bowlers who attempted to qualify for the trip to Seoul from over 70 countries from around the world. And here now is a good look at those players who have still survived up until this point, those that will be looking for the Olympic gold in Seoul, South Korea. There's one surefire way to improve your bowling game. Practice, practice, practice. But 15-year-old Chrissy Wolking of Riva, Maryland seems to have taken things just a bit too far here earlier this year. Chrissy did what no other female bowler has ever done. She bowled 173 games in just 18 hours, earning herself a place in the Guinness Book of World Records.
One day, me and my dad were looking through Guinness book, and since we bowled, he decided to look through the book and see what's in bowling. So I saw the record about marathon bowling, and I thought I could break it. So I just went after it, and I got it.
Yeah, how many strikes did you throw? Do you have any idea?
I have no idea. I used an eight-pound ball, and sometimes I even had to throw gutter balls because I was getting tired, but I bowled under my legs and backwards, left-handed, everything.
Pull that on the stop.
Yeah.
And if Chrissy continues to practice at that rate, we'll probably find her on the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour in the not-too-distant future. Time now to check in on the proceedings here this evening at Red Carpet Lanes.
This is what the players are all trying to win here, this beautiful trophy supplied by LaMode. Ricky Corona thought he had a handle on it as he defeated Joe Firpo in that first match.
And then, of course, Corona went on to knock off Ron Williams 209 to 205, but Husted got the better of Corona in the semifinal game. Now we're ready for the championship game here in the LaMode Classic in Green Bay. And, Mike, 2 seasoned players. Dave Husted now with a game under his belt at this stage. Joe Berardi coming on. He's undefeated. Who has the edge in the championship game?
Well, you would think that Husted would have the edge, but I'm going to go with Berardi. Something tells me that he's going to be able to make the adjustments and strike when he needs to.
Well, Husted has yet to win a title since 1986. Might he win his 6th here this evening? Stay tuned. We'll be right back with the championship game between Joe Berardi, the top seed, and Milwaukee, Oregon's Dave Husted. Stay tuned.
It's going on now, the Old Country Dealer's summer explosion of savings. A dynamite end to the model year clearance on Oldsmobiles like you've never seen before. Sticker prices on every Oldsmobile in stock are being demolished. There's a tremendous selection of Oldsmobile models, colors, and options to choose from. Bargain hunters will have a blast during the summer explosion of savings. It's a dynamite sale.
We are Old Country Dealers.
My place or your place?
My place, of course. My place has delicious food and cozy dining. Fresh homemade pizza with a variety of toppings oozing with mozzarella. Hot and cold subs, spaghetti, rigatoni, stromboli. And my place has specials like mouth-watering manicotti and fresh veal parmesan. Plus, you can eat and relax in the dining room, or my place has takeout available with a convenient drive-through window.
Let's go.
Where?
My place, of course, with 5 convenient locations.
Leave it to the good hands, people.
Understanding. It's knowing that buying a new house often means finding new ways to save, even if that means bagging your lunch.
You want whole wheat or rye?
Give me rye.
And Allstate can help with a new house discount that could save you 15% on homeowners insurance.
You want mustard or mayo?
Mayo.
And 15% could buy lots of hot lunches.
You want mixed fruit or pudding?
Do you want the truth?
The Allstate new house discount. Another reason.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
Winners know what it takes to win. In this game, it takes more control, more power, more precision, more curve. One ball has it all. One ball dominates winning on the Pro Tour. The Black U-Dot from Columbia 300. The Black U-Dot, the ball of champions. Columbia 300, sold only in lanes or pro shops.
The final 2 competitors here in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Top seed Joe Berardi and the number 2 seed Dave Husted.
Guys have bowled the 2 best all week long, and it's just fitting that it comes down to one game between these 2 experienced players.
13 PBA championships between the 2. This one up for grabs. Shinier ball on the left-hand lane, and Husted strikes. Well, he's made a change.
He changed balls, right? Amazing. That takes a lot of nerve right in the middle of a championship match to switch balls. I guess he just figured he could not make the shot he wanted to make on that left lane. Let's see if he uses the same ball on the right lane. He struck every time on the right lane with that other ball.
Berardi never one to waste much time. Nice opening shot. The 10-pin tickled that time by the 6, but he doesn't get the break.
Both these players are not ones to waste time. They are both very, very quick players.
Joe Berardi has already earned better than $73,000 this year, and Joe with 2 wins. Should he win tonight, he's going to step in, I think, to the leading candidate role for Bowler of the Year. He'll be the first player to win 3 titles in '88. Just has bowled superbly this year, really taking advantage of every opportunity.
Well, even if he would win, Dan, I don't know if he would move into the leading candidate for Bowler of the Year. He'd be definitely a candidate, but not necessarily the leading candidate, at least in my opinion.
All right, that's your opinion. I feel that on the PBA Tour that a victory is worth more than X number of finals or X number of cashes. If this guy wins 3 times up until this point, I feel like the guy's got to be the number 1 guy. Well, nobody since '86 has won 3 titles.
That may be very well and true, but I still feel winning the major tournaments such as the PBA National and the Tournament of Champions place importance on those, and Mark Williams and Brian Voss both have won those. And they've won other tournaments, too.
All right, well, we've got the rest of the summer and the fall to determine what might happen.
Good shot. Now, he went over, got the tape, put a small half a strip of tape in that thumb hole, and whammo.
No problem at all for Berardi on the left-hand lane. That's been the problem lane throughout the round.
For everybody.
I think Husted's using the same ball he has all night on the right-hand lane.
Well, it would be hard. He is. He's using 2 different balls, one on the right, one on the left. And again, just not a good release. He just is not loose enough yet to make 2 good releases in a row. You knew you'd have to get a break on that one. In any release, then, you got to get that thumb out first and then lift with the fingers, and he's just not doing it.
Wife Michelle and son Corey standing by and watching in Milwaukee, Oregon. But all the fingers are crossed in Milwaukee.
Well, it's an even match after 2 frames. David now switching to the shinier ball in the left lane. Well, using one ball in one lane, another in the other is not an easy proposition, especially if you're playing the fifth arrow. 3-6-10. He missed it the last time. And he's using the hooking ball to shoot the spare. I mean, this is all turned around here.
Players have to make the adjustments by feel, and some of those are calculated guesses. Most of it's intuition.
Well, he's got it.
Nice cover up that time on the cross lane spare, but Berardi now leads by 3. Could make it a 13-pin advantage if he strikes here on lane 16. That championship won at Bradley Bowl in Windsor Locks, Connecticut.
He defeated Earl Anthony in that one.
Earl Anthony led that event 2 years in a row and lost both years. The second time to Steve Martin.
Oh, what a good shot. He leaves a solid 10.
Takes another look back at it, too, and I don't blame him.
Wow, he threw that ball well. Watch the 6-pin. Second from the right is just going to snap around the 10. Just not even close. He's seen it 1,000 times before. Watch how hard he throws at the spare. He is so strong for such a small man.
I know one thing. If he ever hangs up in the thumb hole, it's masking unit city. That baby's got to be stenciled right on top of the masking unit, huh?
There'd be problems. His arm might be about 6 inches longer if that happened.
All those jacket sizes would go from 38 regular to 38 extra long sleeves. He really is a tremendous athlete, very strong for his size, very confident player.
Ten-pin strike, 10-pin, 10-pin. This is what he stared at all week long.
Well, you can see all the wheels turning at this point. Joyce, you know, I got through that one pretty well. I got the half 10. Do I move the next time on this lane? All these little intricate.
No, he's not moving, I'll tell you.
No, you can't when you're hitting the pocket.
Well, Joey takes a good hard look, jumps up, and has a few words for the 10-pin on lane 15. I wonder if that pin will be listing. Well, when we come back, we'll find out.
It's easy to make the right connections for your home when you start at a True Value hardware store. For extra security, get this 300-watt quartz yard fixture for just $10.99. And this TrueGuard tabletop lamp and appliance timer for only $9.99. Then add some extra reach with this Master Electrician 60-foot extension cord for just $7.99. And their 20-foot retractable cord reel and trouble light for just $16.66 from participating True Value hardware stores and home centers. Since you don't buy a refrigerator every day,
I finally got a Frigidaire.
ask for the one that lasts.
I should have bought a Frigidaire. I finally got a Frigidaire.
For the Frigidaire dealer nearest you, call 1-800-451-7007.
I'll take the Frigidaire. Now.
Frigidaire, here today, here tomorrow.
August sizzles with sports excitement on ESPN. The NFL is back. See 4 live preseason showdowns. And golf swings into its final Grand Slam event, the PGA Championship. August serves up great tennis. Olympic hopefuls going all out in tune-ups for the summer games. And auto racing from the world's most prestigious tracks. Plus, live Wednesday night PBA Tour action. The heat is on in August on ESPN.
And don't forget, coming up next on ESPN, Bob Backup Ball Lee and John Strike Saunders with the latest in the world of sports. And, of course, the Red Sox won again at Fenway Park, Mike Durbin.
That's 22 in a row.
Right now, Husted would like 1 in a row, and he gets it. A nice strike, a solid shot on lane 16.
And when David stays behind the ball and turns it late, he gets his thumb out clean, and it's right in the pocket. When he turns that thumb down, he doesn't get it out right away, and it's trouble. Now watch the release. Look at how he's behind the ball. Look at the follow-through right on up. and it's just dead flush. He knows it. It's just oh hum. Can he do it twice in a row?
If he does, he's ahead.
Better shot. Ooh. He put two good ones back to back for the first time. Watch the hand behind the ball. Now the turn. See the turn? Boy, there's the result.
Yeah. Well, he's not very emotional, but I think he realized that was the shot of the week. Put the pressure on Berardi.
High. Broke it down. Leaves the 6-10. The 10 pins caused that then. I mean, instinctively, you're making good shots and leaving 10 pins, and you try and jam it up a little bit more to get it out. And it goes high.
Yeah, his first 4 shots all in the pocket, only 1 strike.
Oh. He just fires hard at both of them and figures he's going to get them.
A little deep breath. You can see Joe trying to slow down a little bit and gather himself and make one good shot after another. So difficult to come in, bowl just one game for a championship.
And I should say that he's opted for a ball that goes very straight also. He's trying to keep the ball on line with good lift and turn and keep it in the pocket.
Keep it in play.
Yeah. Just like that.
Well, that was a crushing strike on lane 15. So Berardi sets himself up for his next opportunity. Meanwhile, with a 10-pin lead, Husted steps up in the 6th.
And Husted can really tighten the screws on Mr. Berardi right now if he throws a couple more strikes. He's found it now. He's got that dull ball working on the right lane and the shiny one working on the left lane.
2 years ago, Dave Husted had an unbelievable summer tour on ESPN. Last year, not quite what he wanted, but he's bounced back here in '88. This is his 3rd telecast.
Keep knocking, the old adage, you keep knocking on the door often enough, sooner or later you're going to get in.
This one to really tighten the vise.
Knocked that 10-pin out of there.
Boy, he loved this shot. He waited, though, until the last moment.
Watch the 6-pin. Second from the right. It's going to get that 10. All right. Yes. That's as animated as you'll ever see David get. Joe's got to have a strike here. 30 pins down. Tie Brooklyn. And he got it. He's been known to do that on television.
Well, there you see the little flick of the wrist, and Berardi realizes, well, I'll take a Brooklyn if I can get one.
Re-rack. Watch the thumb go down at the point of release. Right over the top of the ball, and it goes to the Brooklyn, and the 6-pin again, or the 3-pin this time, gets the 6-10.
Well, if he strikes here, it's back to a 10-pin.
I know, he's got to take advantage of that break, and he knows it. I almost got a nosedive, backing up the thumb, went down again.
When Joey shakes his head, and I think he realizes this one might just be slipping away.
Tries to stay behind this ball here. Turned a little early there. See the thumb down on the point release up there? In the follow-through, his thumb was pointing straight down.
Joe Berardi used to pressure, maximum pressure. He's already captured a Firestone Tournament of Champions, a U.S. Open, a Masters Championship.
Only thing left is PBA National, and he'd have that triple crown. Only 2 players have been able to do that.
Well, you can see that Husted's trying to bring the adrenaline and the heartbeat down a little bit. Can't get too excited out there.
He's just throwing the ball super right now.
Believe me, folks, you don't realize how tough they've been all week long to string strikes. And right now, Husted, with all the heat on, has got a 5-bagger. All 5 have been just blistered.
And it's almost, he strikes here and it's history. Because he's in the 240 range. He could open and still shoot 230. The best Berardi can get is 226.
Deep knee bending there to get loosened up, under control.
He's just telling himself right now, one good shot and whatever his mental preparation is to make that shot. What a game. He's just been outstanding.
Well, the speed, the velocity, the hit, everything there. That ball just flushed the minute it left his fingertips.
He knew it. Look at the loft. Way out on the lane. 5th arrow. Dead flush. Perfect shot.
Berardi quickly steps up. Going to need another break, and this time he's not going to get it. And Joe Berardi, for the first time in his illustrious career, I think is going to end up on the short end of the stick from the top seed position.
And you would have thought if he picks this pair up and marks in the 10th and shoots 2-0, that a 2-0 game would have been right in the match.
The highest game on the television pair this evening, 209. That one authored by Ricky Corona. So you're right, that's got to be a winner, but not so because Husted could shoot 267 if he goes off the sheet.
Well, Husted switching to that shiny ball in the left lane and throwing the dull ball on the right lane that he was already hitting. Just a very bold move, and it's paying dividends in a first-place win.
His last championship, the Summer Tour 1986, the Miller Lite Challenge down in Tucson. And you go 2 years without a win out here, it's a long time. And, well, it's all academic at this stage for Joe Berardi. And Joseph, after leading this event, is going to have to head back home with a second-place finish. That won't settle well with him because he, above all things, is a tremendous competitor.
Yes, he is.
191 for Berardi, so Dave Husted, who really just kind of hung around all week long and did his job, continues to throw it well. The 5-7 stands, but doesn't make any difference at this point. There you see the smile from Dave Husted as he is now $18,000 richer, and he's collected PBA Championship number 6.
And it's a well-deserved one, you know, in the championship round week after week, 3 times this summer. Finally gets that victory that he's been looking for, and he's going to be a force to be reckoned with for Bowler of the Year.
So Husted and Berardi provided some excitement in the title match. The final score, 233 to 191, and he's saying, hi, Michelle. Hi, Corey. I'll see you all in just a couple of minutes.
Hi. I've been looking all over for this terrific video cassette I heard about. It's called The All-New Not-So-Great Moments in Sports. There's scenes where Darryl Dawkins renovates NBA backboards.
That's a fantastic video. My favorite part is when Billie Jean King turns Bobby Riggs into tennis's court jester.
I hear there's a scene where a West German golfer shoots for birdie from a pretty strange place.
I love it where George Brett calmly disputes his pine tar home run. The all-new Not-So-Great Moments in Sports is 45 minutes of the funniest film I've ever seen.
Great, so you have it.
No store has this version.
Now what do I do?
You get it free.
Let me understand. You don't have the video, but you're going to tell me how to get it free.
Right.
Am I missing something?
You're missing out on Sports Illustrated.
Sports Illustrated? I love that side. What does Sports Illustrated have to do with it?
You get the all-new Not-So-Great Moments in Sports free with your paid subscription.
Oh, I let my subscription run out.
Well, now's a perfect time to go for it again. You get 25 weeks of America's best sports coverage, including the Pro Football Preview and the beautiful swimsuit issue.
I love that.
You even get the big Summer Olympic special issue and the commemorative Olympic pin set.
And the all-new Not-So-Great Moments in Sports?
You get it all.
I do? How?
Just call Sports Illustrated's toll-free number.
Hold on. All that great footage, that video's really worth having.
I ought to know.
Yeah, I'll bet they raised the price of the magazine, right?
It's over 47% off the cover price. Just 3 monthly installments of $9.89 each. You can even put it on a credit card.
No kidding. I get 25 weeks of SI, including the Pro Football Preview, the Summer Olympic special issue, Olympic pin set, the swimsuit issue, and the video cassette free.
You get it all. Just call 1-800-541-8700.
I gotta get to a phone. What's that number again?
Here, 1-800-541-8700. Hi,
Have you heard of a video cassette called The All-New Not-So-Great Moments in Sports?
And there's the winner of the $125,000 LaMode Classic, Mr. Dave Husted. And David, it never comes easy, especially against a top-rated pro like Joe Berardi.
Well, I had the fortune of crossing next to Joe all week, and he bowled absolutely super. I was just fortunate to figure out the left lane tonight, and you know, I tip my hat. Joe bowled real good. He led this tournament the whole way, and tough scores this week, but hey, somebody had to win. I guess it was my turn.
Well, it's a tough job, isn't it? And now we're going to introduce Mr. Alan Geeler, the vice president of LaMode, and he'll be making the presentation of a rather unique trophy. Alan?
Congratulations, Dave. It's been a heck of a week. Green Bay has been real nice. We'd love to be back again. I'd like to know how they got this name on here so quick.
I don't know, but I like the way they think. I just like to thank everybody from LaMode, Alan Geeler, everybody from Red Carpet here. You know, we're not going to be able to go back to Milwaukee down the road at Red Carpet Celebrity, so that was one of my favorite houses, but I think I found a new home now right here in Green Bay. Thank you very much.
All right, now let's bring in Mr. Gary Hartel, the Bowling Proprietors Association here in Wisconsin, and he's got a rather large check to present
Dave,
to you,
on behalf of the bowling fans in Milwaukee and Green Bay and Wisconsin, I'd like to present you a check for $18,000, and we're looking forward to having you come back to Green Bay and defend your title.
Well, I'll tell you, I'll be back, that's for sure. I just like to thank everybody for coming out. All the fans have been great. You know, we haven't been up here that many years now. This is the second year, and hopefully it can be a real long marriage between the PBA and the city of Green Bay. Thank you.
Mike, I know you've got at least one question for Husted concerning equipment.
Yeah, I certainly do. David, the first game you struggled on that left lane, and then we saw you made a change in the practice balls. You went to a shiny ball and used a shiny ball in the left lane and that dull ball in the right lane. What made you decide to do that?
Well, the left lane really broke down. We've been playing the extreme inside angle all week, and I just had to force the ball too much with the dull ball in the left lane, so I took a chance. I practiced with it before the last game here, the shiny ball. It felt pretty good. I thought, what the heck, I'd have nothing to lose. I came this far, I might as well just give it a shot and start out with a good shot and struck, and I was on my way.
Did you have any problem having different feel with the two different bowling balls?
No, the ball felt real good. The right lane was the key, actually. I felt like if I could just hold on to the right lane and get the strikes up and have something to work on, I would do okay, and I came through on the left lane.
Well, you came through like the champion you are.
Thank you.
Just one quick question, David. 2 years is a long time to go without winning on the national tour. Did you ever start to doubt yourself?
No, not at all. You know, there's lots of highs and lows out here, and I bowled real well the last about 3 or 4 months, probably as good as anybody. I don't want to try to toot my own horn, but I've been bowling real well, and I felt like I've been due, and I finally got here and knocking on the door enough. And everybody back home at Milwaukee Bowl, I love you. That's 90-cent beer night tonight. Drink up, boys and girls.
Yeah, and when he gets back into town, he'll buy, I'm sure. So long, everybody, from Green Bay, Wisconsin. Tonight's championship round finals of the $125,000 LaMode Classic have been brought to you by True Value Hardware. For quality, selection, and personal attention, make True Value Hardware your store of first choice. By Frigidaire, who brings you a full line of quality home appliances. And by Budweiser, Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. Next week, the PBA Summer Tour heads north for the championship round finals of the $130,000 Molson Golden Bowling Challenge. Live from Rose Bowl Lanes in Windsor, Ontario, Canada, beginning at 9:30 Eastern Time on ESPN.